Okay.
You're on there, Noah.
Woo! Yeah, I know. I did that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cigar City Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr. Nello. How you doing, buddy?
How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm doing good.
The lady is for our special guest over there.
Clay, how are you?
I'm doing quite well, fellas.
I'm so glad to hear it. And we do have a special guest today. So, if you follow the group, you know this guy pretty well. And I kind of love his interaction on the group because Nello, as I've grown up, has always been the agitator. And then we have somebody who's finally able to get to him. Mr. Camillo, how you doing?
I wouldn't say finally able to get to him, but
I'm
does
doing
do
great.
Right.
I'm glad I'm here face to face with Nello and can point out just why you're so wrong.
Do you like my jacket, by the way?
Let's hear it for Camillo. Let's give it to him. So good to have you on the show, buddy. Big time Bucks fan, yeah. Who are your teams?
Oh, absolutely the Bucks, no doubt. And then for college, obviously Florida, huge Gator fan. So, then
we got quite a few of those.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is definitely the state for it, obviously, because Florida State's just not any good anymore.
Ryan's gonna love that he missed that one.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Wait, you always told me when you listen to the show, you're like, yeah, I skip to whenever football starts. Today's your day. Because we're going straight to football. Week 1 of college ball is in the books. It's done. It's over with. How do we all feel?
I feel amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you watch that 12 o'clock game?
Was that the Penn State, Wisconsin?
Tell me that wasn't the best game of the week. Don't answer. It's okay.
It was not the best game of the week. However, I'm happy to say I was wrong in that pick. I picked Wisconsin. They did not pull through for me. But the We Are Penn State's finally got a win against a ranked team not in Happy Valley.
Wow. That's fine.
What's fine? It's
fine.
a fact.
Reality?
Can you tell me the last time you beat a ranked team not in Happy Valley?
Not in Happy Valley? I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's kind of sad.
That's a big thing there, buddy.
Are you kidding me right now?
However,
this
congratulations.
Gator guy's going to come over here talk shit. Tebow's not coming out of the tunnel anytime soon. Those national championships are ancient history.
Wow.
Ancient history.
Yeah, ancient with
When's
a capital
the most
A.
recent Penn State national championship?
Even worse ancient history. That's like a tome.
Oh, God. All right, let's talk about some of these matchups. No, I if it's not the best, I think it's 1B to 1A. You got to be a fool to think that the Florida State-Notre Dame game was not the best game of week 1 of college football.
Second best.
Yeah, it was a strong game, and this is coming from a Florida fan who absolutely hates Florida State. But
so I'm not a big Florida State fan myself. I do not like them. I don't actively watch them unless they're in a ranked game or in a game that means something. And this is like I think one of the only teams I felt this way about. It's like I can't stand Florida State, but I can't help but love Bobby Bowden. And this was a big game coming back on the field since Bobby Bowden has passed away. And I knew these dudes were going to come out and literally leave it all on the field. So I tuned in from kickoff. I was like, this is going to be a good game. Let's see how it is. And it did not disappoint. I don't remember their name of their starting quarterback, but he looked nervous all night. He did not look great. He looked like he was under pressure. And both defenses were firing all night. Truly.
Yeah, the starter, I guess, did not look good at all. But I don't know Milton's first name.
McKenzie Milton.
McKenzie Milton, man. I know old Gus Malzahn wishes he was still in Orlando right now.
But what a story, right? For McKenzie Milton to be told, dude, you'll never walk again. And the surgeon's telling him, hey, man, nobody's ever come back from this and been able to play football again. Jordan Travis was his name, by the way. 9 for 19, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
And he was sacked 4 times.
Just a bad night for him. Now, that was going to be my next point. The Florida State offensive line was not stellar, but he wasn't doing them any favors by trying to get rid of this ball.
I wouldn't say they weren't stellar. I mean, that Gad Corbin went for 144, so they were doing pretty good job of beating down the undersized Notre Dame defensive line when it come to running.
Right. When it came to run blocking, they did well, but let's not forget that 80 of those yards came on one run.
But I mean, even the backup went 11 carries, 76 yards, and then the guy after that went 6 for 34. So they were running at will on Notre Dame.
They were. That was clearly a weakness out of the Fighting Irish, and I think that kind of exposes.
Is that the
them
only
to-
weakness you saw in the Fighting Irish?
Yeah, their quarterback was awesome. He was really good. He went 26 for 35 for 366 with 4 touchdowns and a pick on a Hail Mary at the end of the game as time expired. That was only because, hey, take your shot, not because he made an errant throw. So I don't put that on him. Yes, he was a baller. Their running game, however, did struggle a little bit to get off the ground. They couldn't do much.
Notre Dame's running backs, they had 2 running backs that almost went over 100.
I'm sorry, we must be reading different stats because I see 31 yards and 42 yards.
No, the guy, that M. Mayer guy went 9 for 120. And then the guy after him went 4 for 91 for a touchdown.
That's why you're looking at receiving yards. We're specifically talking about running at this point. But the running backs had 18 carries for 42 yards.
I hate
for a
technology.
2.3 yard average. So
Why was it showing me the game that didn't matter? I'm sorry, I was on the wrong game.
golly gee, Batman. But they did struggle. But I was sitting there watching FSU's defense going, damn, man, these dudes are not the same team. They're playing their ass off. I'm like, I wonder why that is. Why are they doing so much better than I thought they would? And then who's the guy that calls boxing? I love him. He's a fantastic caller. But what's
Was it
his
Kellerman?
name? No. Anyway, he's got a really, really big voice. He's a good commentator. He told me that 3 brand new starters for FSU came from the SEC. More specifically, their big, outstanding linebacker, number 11, came out of Georgia.
Did you know that FSU is returning 10 defensive starters on that team?
Even better.
That defense looked really good.
Yeah, they did.
And they tried the best to slow down a Brian Kelly offense, who that's what he does, is he spreads the ball around. And I think they did a pretty good job of bending and not breaking.
I agree. I think it was a decent job, but FSU's defense definitely kept them in the game.
So do you go with Milton or do you go with the Taylor kid?
You got to go with Milton.
Yeah,
right?
Milton.
You got to go with Milton because he had more control of the offense.
I think Taylor was only starting because, this is Milton's last year. So I think they had to see. I mean, if Taylor worked out, there you go. But
even more so
doing
than the stat line, you could just see. I mean, we've all played football in this room. You could see the command that he took over that offense as soon as he walked out and completed 2 passes. Everybody calmed down. Everybody stopped being so jittery. It started looking more like an offense and less like a fight or a struggle. Milton clearly had the command over the offense. He wasn't shy about running. He was quick to get rid of the ball, which is what I was talking about him compared to the other starter, was that he would hike the ball, boom, ball was gone. He looked like he was back in his Heisman days over at UCF. But I think he's the guy you got to go with.
Yeah, no question. I mean, he had poise, and given the circumstances, I mean, coming back from an injury like that, to step back on the field the first time and still have that kind of confidence and swagger about himself, like he looked like he's back and never really got hurt.
Yeah.
That shovel pass was probably the best play when he was getting swallowed up and you saw that running back when that and just little shovel pass to get that first down.
Yeah, that was a designed play for him to pick that up and start running and then shuffle it back. Brilliant play call because Notre Dame keyed on it big time. I don't know how much better they could have done with misdirection throughout the game, but that was a huge play.
So what do you feel about Brian Kelly's comments about executing the team or whatever the hell he said, where he's like, we failed on execution and maybe we should execute him or something like that? Or
it was something about the Taliban, I thought. He said something about becoming the Taliban or something.
Yeah,
it was really strange.
it was an Instagram. It was like, oh, what do we like, the Taliban? And then execution was our problem. Maybe we should just execute the team. It was weird. And then he came back the next day and said something like, oh, well, it's tongue in cheek. And I'm like,
no, it's not.
You still said you wanted to execute your team. What are you talking about?
Wow, I did not hear that.
I didn't either. That's why you don't reach, because then you look like an idiot.
Yeah, and certainly if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up, Brian. Nobody
Kelly's an idiot.
Yeah, we were talking football, buddy.
Is he on the hot seat finally?
Brian Kelly?
If they don't do anything, like
no, they won the game.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta if they
don't win a title,
you gotta. It's Notre Dame, man. It's not like a lot of these other schools. Not just talking SEC. I'm not being SEC homer. It's not like these other schools where you basically have a few years to get to the playoffs or you're done kind of scenario. I think he's all right if they pull out a winning season this year.
He's also, they talked about that he's second in school history in wins for a head coach. They're not going to dump him. I mean, they're going to let him get that record. They're going to let him keep going because they're not. He's doing enough to, pass the class and keep going. He's not going to get fired.
So we're gonna reward him for his mediocrities because he's got a soft schedule because they don't have a conference.
When I'm on the board for Notre Dame, I'll let you know how those conversations go. But until then, if I'm not happy with it, but then again, I'm not a Notre Dame fan.
So here's the comment he made verbatim, and apparently he's attributing it to old John McKay quote. If you remember when McKay, back when the Buccaneers were not as good, and he basically said something about executing the team, something to.
Here's the quote, Brian Kelly. I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our entire team needs to be executed tonight. Jesus,
ouchies! Notre Dame, your coach is not happy with you.
Yeah, if I'm in the locker room and coach walks in, I'm like, "You executing me, coach?
Why don't you come and try?"
Yeah, especially that big tight end, the one they call Baby Gronk, 87. Good Lord.
Man, that game was just fun to watch,
yeah.
And it was really good to see. And I was going to compliment Ryan, who's not here today. It was really good to see that stadium do they were ready.
If that to me was the moment I was like, college football's back, baby.
Yeah,
let's get it.
Exactly. I had that feeling like, yes.
I saw a couple clips from UF. UF was rocking. Texas was rocking. I mean, it felt good.
I mean, Camilo's ready to crown them national champions after beating FAU. He's already said that they're playoff bound. They're going to win it all. Like, dude,
those are definitely not
one.
I was about to say, he definitely didn't say that.
I definitely complimented the defense that looked really strong, and I had my concerns about Emory Jones, and this weekend kind of proved that for me. But Richardson, his backup, looks fantastic.
That's
that
15?
Kid can run. That kid is
the one I'm worried about.
That kid is a stud.
Woo!
I gotta say, I disagree with you. I don't think Emory Jones did anything to prove anything to me. If I'm a Florida fan, he did what he was supposed to do for sure. But I'd like to see him get challenged a little bit more before my faith is placed in Emory Jones. I think he's a hell of a talent, hell of an athletic kid. Did he throw the ball a lot? I didn't get to see it, but I mean, was he just a runner?
He threw 2 picks, and when he didn't throw picks, his throws looked like they just weren't really there on point. He looked uncomfortable throwing the ball. RPO, he did great. That's what he does. I mean, he's a mobile quarterback. But
Do you think they were playing down to competition?
No.
So you just think he was just struggling?
I think he was struggling, and it could just be week one jitters. Hey, first time starting at the helm. So
first time starting in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium when the team, the Florida Gators, is on your shoulders. That's tough.
Wasn't that a whiteout game for them? Didn't they do the white?
I don't think they do whiteouts per se.
I thought they did that this week. Was the end zone painted all white and stuff like that?
Yeah, the end zone was painted white. Yeah.
So Emory went 17 for 27 with a touchdown and two picks, but he also ran for 74 yards. I mean, again, that's my thing with him. I don't think he did enough. If I'm a Gator fan, I'm not comfortable right now throwing 2 picks against FAU. I mean, FAU's decent talent, but a better team, when you guys go see Georgia, that's a tough game. Absolutely. That's somebody where you're going to need Emory throwing the ball a lot.
You're going to need Emory doing something a lot because that defensive line for Georgia, if they play like they did against Clemson, holy shit.
That was another. So I think I'm the minority in the room. I like defensive football.
I'm right there with you.
I like defensive football. Low scoring games for me, I think, are so much better to watch. When it's back and forth, okay, but then I'm kind of like, your defense sucks. But this game right here hinged on a pick 6. And I don't know if it's panic mode for Clemson or if Georgia's just that good.
What? What are we panicking? It's just week 1. Ugalele or whatever is not going to have that bad of a week. He had no time to throw. He had no time. Every time he was throwing the ball, he was getting hit. Hands in his face. Receivers weren't getting open. They're not going to play a defense that tough for at least until the national championship.
They're not in the SEC. They're not going to play a team defense that tough again.
They're not going to be in the national championship.
That's what I was going to say. Did you hear the stat?
Yeah.
Did you hear the stat of how many teams have gone on to win a national title after losing their first game?
No.
Give you a hint. It's under 5.
Okay, so Clemson could do that because they could run the table and get into a top 4 spot.
But let's not ignore history. How many times has that happened?
Great.
In college football history.
You live in history too. That's cute.
You're a Penn State fan. You should appreciate that more than anybody.
I'm saying I agree with that 100%. I'm saying, but at this point, to write Clemson off because they lost to Georgia, 10-7.
That's 10-3.
10-3 or whatever.
I'll tell you this right now. The FSU team that I saw and the Clemson team that I saw, doesn't matter who they're playing, FSU will beat Clemson based on the one game. Small sample size.
Yeah.
I saw a lot
That's
more
coming this year.
productivity and just better play overall out of FSU. Clemson, yeah, of course Georgia's got a great defense. It's Kirby Smart. He's been there long enough to stack his squad with all of his guys.
And he's a Nick Saban acolyte.
But I will say this, and not to mention he was the brainchild behind our 2016 defense, who may be the best ever until now. But I don't think they're that good. I think Clemson has a depth problem.
That
You think
defense is lights out.
You think they're top
It's
heavy?
the best Georgia defense.
You got to
I've
remember
seen in
you're
a
talking to
long
an
time.
Alabama fan.
I get
It's
it.
okay.
I know the bias. Take
It's
the glasses
probably
off.
the second
Take
best
the glasses.
defense.
You know you're scared about that defense because you guys are going to play. There's
No.
okay. Now you're just being a Bama tard, and I get it.
No,
Like, come on.
I think it's not that. It's not being a Bama tard, as you so eloquently put it.
I just did.
It is. You are a Penn State fan, and you have not been watching. You got to remember, I was in Tuscaloosa for the Mike Shuley years. Okay.
Yeah, those
Been
are bad
there.
years.
Saw those. Now I'm watching greatness displayed week in, week out, year in, year out.
I don't know about that Georgia offense, but that
Just
Georgia
on a
defense
whole
is
other
great.
level. Oh yeah, the defense is great, but
They're always good.
they're always good ever since Kirby Smart, but they're not as good as Alabama. They're not as good as Clemson made them look. They're great by far.
How does Clemson make Georgia look that good?
No depth.
One interception
No depth.
that went
They got
back for a
nothing.
touchdown.
They got nothing. You watch that Clemson offensive line. They were on their heels the entire game.
They were. That's a true statement.
And you could see it's like they lacked fundamentals at times. Like they did not know just proper balance and weight, and they were all over the place.
Well, let's talk about this too. They lost their 2 best players to the draft. They lost Etienne and Lawrence, who kept them in every game. I mean, it's hard to say that you're going to replace those 2 guys and then come in.
The Georgia defense got 7 sacks.
So that's proving what he just said about the
That
Clemson
defense is
offensive
great.
line.
As of right now, it's probably the best
I don't care
defense I've
how
seen all
good
year.
your defense is. If you get 7 sacks, yes, that is awesome. Your defense did a great job, but you got to look at that O-line they were playing.
I mean, you can't say it's blameless and say, it's just the defense. There's no way.
Did you watch the game?
I did.
You watched it all?
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to that? Did you pay attention to Clemson's
I
O-line?
watched
At least in the second half when you saw it
the
was
first
a
3
nightmare?
quarters I was working, so it was on and off. But on the 4th quarter, I got to watch the whole thing. And that defense played lights out. That
they
defensive
did.
line was interrupting and not giving DJU any time to throw. He had no time to look at his reads. He was literally running for his life. There was somebody that was going to decapitate him every time he looked up.
Well, Georgia being an SEC team, I mean, their defense is always going to be stronger.
But
than
this is
most
the
teams
best
anyways.
Georgia defense I've seen Kirby Smart have.
Georgia,
since he's been there.
has become increasingly scary in the SEC. They're
For sure.
definitely one of the powerhouses now. So them and Alabama and Florida, just in terms of defense, they all look strong, really, really strong on defense. And so I'm not surprised Clemson had a hard time.
But I'll give you this: Bama's offense. If Georgia's defense can't stop Bama's offense, it's going to be another Bama undefeated season.
It's going to be
Because Georgia's offense looks bad.
I think it's going to be if they can't stop our offense, if they can't slow down Bryce Young, who, by the way, looked like he was dropping back, ordering a coffee, might go get a pizza on the sideline, and then making comfortable throws. You can't deny him. You cannot deny Bryce Young. That kid, as a first-time starter, 4 touchdowns, what was it, 300-something crazy amount of yards.
Well, and Alabama, to their credit, they know how to coach their offensive line very well. Bama offensive linemen are you can tell by their footwork, they're not just well coached, but I mean they get guys that have strong fundamentals as they come into the school as it is. So to their credit, Alabama's
and then they hammer it into them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention we've got like 3 per position that we can sub in at all times.
Yeah, but
that helps.
But Evan Neal, our left tackle, what is he like? 12 feet tall, 5,000 pounds.
About that.
That's what it seems like when he's on the field. He's huge. But I got to say, I predicted Brian Robinson was going to go for 150 yards. I thought he was going to destroy Miami. He only put up 60. I mean, he averaged 5, which can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah.
But
with the play of Bryce Young, though, it's hard to share those reps when you got your first starter.
He looked good.
First game starter is
Man.
not just making great throws. Like you said before we started, I mean, he had a couple of overthrows, but I mean, that's normal. Your best guys do that. But man, just the way that he would
in stride.
he would feel the pressure and never looked away from downfield.
No.
It's like he knew they were coming and just would shift out smoothly, no panic, smoothly, and find a dump, not trying to run it, even though he's mobile, and would just find that dump off. God, the way he went through his progressions, like I said, man, I think he's going to average out across the season to played about 75% of what he did this week. If I'm wrong, if I'm just being conservative, then it's over.
I mean, he looked like Neo in the pocket. All the Agent Smith, he's just like
he just slips out. Yeah,
it was
crazy.
so fluid, and the ball, like he was throwing it in stride.
Yeah,
the receivers really didn't need to do much.
the 27 for 38, 344 yards, Bama debut record, and 4 touchdowns, another Bama debut record. Which I know Mac Jones, Tua, and Jalen just
This
left.
kid's on
Bama,
another level.
but this kid's on another level.
Yeah.
Even Tua, I looked at my wife halfway through the game and said, this kid might be better than Tua.
I thought the record was also NCAA, right, for debuts.
I thought it was just a Bama
Everything
record.
I read was Bama, but I was
Yeah.
also reading Bama fan write-ups and all that
Gotcha.
stuff.
You would, right? Read the Bama fan.
Well, I am a fan of
I know.
Alabama football.
I know.
Where are you getting your Penn State news?
So hold on.
I get all
no,
of
no.
my Florida
The
stuff
garbage
from
can.
Florida
Oh,
State.
see what I'm saying? This is just all hate. You gotta respect it. What a win against Wisconsin.
Hey, great win.
Hey, I picked
Tell me
y'all.
that wasn't a good win.
that was a great win.
Tell me that wasn't a good game. It was a good game to start off your college football day.
Speaking of
For sure.
That
speaking
defense
of
played lights out too.
speaking of defenses, though,
That defense,
Damn.
Penn State defense.
that Penn State defense had a lot of takeaways. They were flying around, and they were beating a Wisconsin team that a lot of people said this is their best year of skill players they've ever had.
Skill what?
Quarterback, receiver, and running back.
What happened to the quarterback?
You tell me, Nello.
I don't know. You tell me.
You're clearly
I want to
erect.
hear it from
You're
you. though.
clearly erect. What
Whoa,
happened?
oh my God.
Just to circle back, he gets his Penn State news from the cardboard signs of the homeless people.
Don't. But you promised you wouldn't tell people that.
And it
Now
just
people
says-
are going to steal my sources.
All it says is we are. No, but Penn State, hats off to them. I didn't think they were going to get the win because I didn't think they had the offense to do it.
I
And
honestly
they
thought
didn't
the
need
same
it.
thing.
No.
Even after losing Micah Parsons to the draft, like the defense still looked like they were.
That's
Weren't
why
even
I
missing a
picked
beat.
him. I picked him because all last season and the season before, Wisconsin, they're a good team, but it's like they wouldn't show up till the second half. It was always close. They were losing in the first half, and then they'd pull it out. And I'd read up a little bit, mostly just to be able to talk with Nello. But I read that Penn State was supposed to have a really great defense this year, so I figured they could pull. I didn't think it was honestly would have picked it to be a little bit further apart game, but
I could not believe when I turned on the TV and was watching the Matt Leinart show and all those guys before the game. They're like, "Oh, Penn State's defensive line, they're missing a lot of players. Not going to get it done." They were wrong, sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
Those linebackers played good, but that D line held that running game as good as they could. Bend, don't break, and it worked.
All right, so I want to.
But my worry about Penn State is that offense. they looked bad.
Yeah, they got us.
Clifford
Well, I
didn't
mean,
look good.
if you look at him and you look at the stats for the game, he didn't look bad. He just didn't blow anybody out of the water. He didn't turn the ball over. He completed passes. He got a touchdown. I mean, sure, you guys have room for improvement, but I certainly wouldn't pin it on him. I mean, maybe there's a little bit more that can be done, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I want to highlight a few more games from this weekend. Then I want to get into our picks for the top college teams going in, and then we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to get into NFL, baby. First and foremost, USF. Y'all got spanked, man, 45-0.
Ouch.
Disgusting. They were talking about this finally. You know what? This team's finally going to turn around and have themselves a halfway decent year this year. God, you got spanked. And another team that I think skated by the skin of their teeth, but still a win's a win. I'm not going to hate them for this. Ohio State. Y'all almost got spanked in Minnesota.
Yeah, that score, I mean, they ended up winning by 14, I believe. Right?
Yeah, it was 45-31 for the final.
It was at no point ever that far away until the end.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the whole reason for that game being as close as it was is the running back, Muhammad Ibrahim, number 24. This
what a game.
Dude had 150 yards going into halftime. He was an absolute monster, and the entire offense was benefiting from him. Sadly, third quarter, I think he tore an ACL, or not ACL. He tore his ankle.
I haven't seen the official report.
They said lower leg
You got a
injury.
good view of his calf popping, and it looked like what I've seen of Achilles being torn. But I haven't read what the official. I haven't seen anything that said what he's been diagnosed with.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything official, but that is a huge loss for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's
look,
fantastic.
he talks about going into the half at 150. Then he comes out in the second half, busts off that like 25-yard touchdown run to get the second half going.
Yeah.
I mean, just the guy was on fire.
Minnesota's defense couldn't keep up with Ohio State's offense. That's all it was.
That's absolutely true. But once once Ibrahim went out, that whole game was over.
Oh yeah.
Once he walked off the sideline, it was like watching the heart of the Gophers walk off the field. And Ohio State, just like any good program, smelled blood in the water, and they went after it. And they did what Ohio State does. So good for you to win. But let me tell you something. Number 24 walking out is a big reason as to why you did. Again,
Stroud looked good too, by the way. The Ohio State kid. He looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
yeah, he did. 13 for 22, 294 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick.
I just want to talk about these cart targeting because this game was so blatant. That kid, Ohio State kid, that's a targeting.
Oh yeah, all
right?
day.
That's a bad call.
All day it is, but man, I'm surprised at the TV personalities that are saying it's not. You know, they're arguing with people on social media about, you know, if this is yes, then it's targeting. If it's no, and then it doesn't check all these boxes. He put the crown of his helmet into the guy's ear hole, and that was first contact. I don't know how else you call it.
Right.
I mean, the Penn State targeting, the guy rolled off his shoulder. That's not targeting. That's bang, bang play. If that's targeting and the Ohio State, what happened in the Ohio State game isn't targeting, there has to be something where we uniform these rules so that a targeting one place isn't going to be different.
I thought they had. I thought if it was helmet to helmet, it was targeting, and that was it.
The problem is the individuals on the field. No, I don't want to get rid of the refs. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying one guy's interpretation of the rules is going to look a little bit different from somebody else's, and that goes for the guys in the replay booth as well. It's not this, but it's like that. When, let's say, you have your team and they got a questionable call, you're automatically going to go, no, he caught that ball, and you're going to shape your argument to where it looks like your guy caught that ball, where on the other side, somebody else is going to go, well, you remember this one, that one wasn't a catch, and you can't do the 1-and-1 in that situation. That's why it's a flawed system. So what you can do is put your head down and keep playing freaking football.
I think what we're going to see is like they're doing with fumbles now. You know, used to, they would call a ball down, and now you're done. That's it, right? Now they kind of let it play out, and then they review and call it back. I think, hopefully, that's why I didn't like all these media personalities arguing that it wasn't targeting. I would hope that the referees would take this and say, okay, if it's questionable, let's call the targeting, because we can. It's still a personal foul, but we can overturn the ejection, right? So
Yeah.
so you still get your 15 yards, but you don't get the players not ejected. They can continue to play.
See, I was just going to say the same thing. Like some targetings, yeah, dude, you tried to kill him. But like the Penn State targeting, I think there was one last night too where it could have been questionable, where it wasn't like he was literally trying to hurt him. It was a bang, bang play.
Yeah.
Then maybe give him the 15-yard penalty, let him sit out a play, and then bring him back.
Well, if he'd have hit the shoulder pad first with his helmet, not targeting, but man, you could clearly
It looked
see
like a
the
missile,
crown of his
man.
helmet. First contact was right in that dude's ear hole.
It looked like an old school Brian Dawkins hit.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple more I want to talk about is Oklahoma Tulane. Oklahoma, how in the world are they sitting at number 4
They shouldn't be.
when they had to go to overtime with Tulane in their own stadium, which first and foremost, this was supposed to be a home game for Tulane. And, I don't think that makes much of a difference, or it shouldn't. If you're going to be a marquee program like Oklahoma, you should not be trading blows with a team like Tulane. But since Hurricane Ida swept through Louisiana, they had to play in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma did the classy thing and didn't fill out their stadium full of their fans to make it a home game. Granted, there were still a bunch of Oklahoma fans in the stands, but there's no excuse.
Tulane's not that bad of a program.
Okay.
I said that last week, and I'll say it again.
Yeah, but compared to Oklahoma, man,
they're not that bad of a program.
Sure, they're not a bad program, but they're not on par with Oklahoma. The fact that Oklahoma allowed that game to be played the way it was, I mean, either what was it? Was it just week 1 jitters? Is Oklahoma not what Oklahoma used to be?
Well,
It
Oklahoma
shouldn't
hasn't been what
definitely-
Oklahoma used to be since Stoops left.
It shouldn't be jitters for a guy like Spencer Rattler, who's the number 1 guy talked about for the Heisman right now. Granted, his numbers look okay until you get to the giveaways, and that's where you lose a game. So he had 30 for 39, 304 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Even though he played so well, air quotes, they were saying it was all on him. And again, Oklahoma gets to be one of these premier programs, somebody that you expect to be in the playoffs every year, and they're going to have a stinker like this. Maybe it is week 1 jitters and they'll shut me up. I was just surprised to see that. But let me tell you, if Tulane would have pulled out that victory, they'd have sky fallen. They'd have just plummeted down the list.
I mean, it may have had something to do with Tulane practicing in Alabama. That might have worn.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I'm gonna go home. Bye, guys. This is gonna be an early podcast for me.
What's the one thing
gosh.
Tulane hadn't done ever before now? Practice in
I know you're
Alabama's
gonna tell me
facilities.
now.
Just saying.
Okay, so it's that Saban effect. As long as Saban's in the building, it's
Yeah.
okay.
I love it.
Listen,
Greatness.
Saban's probably arguably the greatest college coach of all time.
I'm glad you said
that's,
college.
That's
I'm glad you
from
said
the
college.
Florida fan too.
Yes.
You got to give
it's
it
undeniable.
to him, though,
You
even if
can-
you're not
he
a Bama
wouldn't.
fan.
But that's
He
like
wouldn't.
admitting the Sith Lord was a really good
Well,
guy.
but he's a contrarian, though. He's
Jesus.
not
Yeah,
going
that's
to.
All right,
But
so
here's a fun fact about Saban, though. If you play for Saban for 3 seasons, you're almost guaranteed a national championship, and I mean that says a lot. So
that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's hard to. And you go back to how do we keep churning out these offensive linemen and defensive linemen? And they had a big piece on that with, I think it was Christopher Williams. What's his name? Our
Wallace?
outside linebacker.
Oh.
Williams.
Yeah.
Either way, he was like, "Listen, man, I go up against this guy Evan Neal every day. He's who I'm practicing against. So iron sharpens iron. When you get to the game, more often than not, I feel bad for this poor bastard from Mercer that we're playing this week, because he's been going up against an NFL left tackle all week in practice, and all of a sudden he's going up against his sister's kids. That's why it looks like a murder when they take the field.
Yeah.
Sister's kid.
I mean, but that's what I'm talking about, and it's not just Alabama. Sure, that's an Alabama effect, but big schools, period.
Yeah.
That's why I get that way with Oklahoma or Florida or Penn State even. If you're out there going up against lesser competition and you're getting taken to the woodshed, I don't want to hear about it, man.
there has been, was it 5 upsets from the FCS this week? Was it 5 or 6 games that no name conferences won?
LSU was a big one that lost. They lost to UCLA, and nobody picked UCLA.
It's I think the only reason why Oklahoma is still at 4 is because you look at the other games.
Yeah.
Maybe you put Texas A&M above them, But Clemson shouldn't drop any more than they did. That was proper because of who they lost to, and it was a close game. So how far can you really take Oklahoma back for a victory?
No, you're right.
Albeit a disappointing one.
That's
it. Now, if this would have happened game like week 3, week 4, they'd probably be close to the 10th.
If we're going to talk about the AP, how's Notre Dame still in the top 10 after that game?
Yeah.
What's crazy is the coaches poll has Oklahoma at 4th, too. That was surprising to me.
I agree. But with the Notre Dame, they should have dropped, too.
They should have been out of the top 10. I'm not saying like they could have been 11 and maybe Penn State could have been 10. Not trying to boost my own school, but if you think about it.
I'll tell you this.
You played a tougher opponent and won away. It's an argument.
I would put Iowa State, Iowa, and Penn State ahead of Notre Dame in this scenario. I would do that.
Sounds good.
Now, that is what probably it should be.
At least for now. At least for now.
I'm saying right behind Penn State, if we're looking at it like that, I'm putting the University of Florida if you jump them up because they won, they dominated, and if I'm not mistaken, the team ahead of them lost. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no. Clemson.
Yeah. No, not Clemson.
No, Oregon won.
Oh, they won? Okay.
Yeah, Oregon won.
Now, they didn't decimate them, right? They won by against Fresno by like 5 points.
Oregon, I thought
it was by 7, by a touchdown. They beat them by a touchdown at home. I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, but, if you're going off of week 1, Fresno is a bigger opponent than FAU.
Okay. No, you're not. I said behind.
Yeah, FAU's too new to having a pretty good squad.
Yeah.
And now that Lane Kiffin left him hanging like he's done Tennessee and USC, they're going to go back.
Speaking of Tennessee,
he got booted out of USC. He didn't leave USC per se.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but he did leave Tennessee hanging.
I mean, LSU.
Yeah, and he left the Raiders hanging too.
He was forced to leave.
He's left almost every team he's played for hanging, FAU included.
Yeah.
So he's like Urban Meyer then.
Yeah.
Just without the fake heart
God,
attacks.
we should put
Speaking of Urban, he's going to get a heart attack here this year in the AFC South.
I wonder what the over-under is for if Urban Meyer if there's a prop bet out there, does Meyer last all year?
Oh, no doubt it's going to be 6 weeks.
I've been reading. There's a lot of players that are like, he's
Not
confusing us with this college jargon and all this, and it's of course they're not slamming them, right out there in public, but they're definitely sharing concerns.
At that point, where do you say, guys, we're in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Well, and that's why college coaches have a hard time translating to the NFL because they're still treating, these now millionaire players that have had previous experience with NFL coaches. They're treating these millionaires like they're college students that are trying to, establish a name for themselves.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And it doesn't translate. Yeah, Pete Carroll's probably the only really successful college
recently,
QB
for sure.
And he failed in the NFL too as well.
Let's be honest.
In New England, right?
Let's be
he
honest.
got booted out of New England. Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll?
Nice. No,
we're talking about him going to the Super Bowl.
Right, but he was an NFL coach before he went to USC and won.
Right, but this is talking about who's been the most successful recently, that's the only name you can come up with. The only other one you could have was John Harbaugh, who got there, went to a Super Bowl off Patrick Willis, and then ended up going back.
Let's be honest. Pete Carroll ran USC like an NFL team anyway.
Yeah.
So he wasn't too much.
You are right.
Wasn't too much coaching difference there.
So speaking of teams that were kind of on the outs but had really good week ones, let's talk about Texas and Tennessee.
I didn't watch Tennessee.
So Tennessee didn't play a really great team, but they played really great for a team that's been playing the way they've been playing. They played Bowling Green 38-6.
I'm excited to hear this.
That was a breath of fresh air for Tennessee. It was because it has been.
Yeah.
It's been a while. 2 years ago, there's a chance they lose that game.
Yeah.
That's how bad
I'm just surprised you're being so nice to Tennessee.
I mean, the beauty of rivalries is you got to respect them, right? And I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. Philip Fat-Ass Fulmer.
I love it when he does this. I love it.
Is a piece of shit, all right?
He's a big fan of the show.
So that right there.
Phil, if you're listening.
We'll get him to call in next week.
Could you imagine that interview? Could you imagine that interview?
I love Peyton Manning. I loved watching T. Martin there when he wasn't playing Alabama. But Tennessee is you got to feel sorry for them, man. The last 3-4 years, let's be honest, they have just been they're so bad that Alabama's playing them for homecoming this year. That's how bad they are.
Could you imagine if they upset?
Well, they're not going to do that.
It won't happen.
What I would love to see, and I posted this at Saturday night or Sunday, whatever day it was, I really need Tennessee to step up and do their part to help Alabama strength the schedule.
If Tennessee beats Alabama on that homecoming game, will you wear I love Philip Fat Ass Fulmer
Absolutely
shirt?
Absolutely.
If a frog had wings,
Okay.
it wouldn't bump his butt every time he jumped. I mean,
it's far fetched, but I would love to see him in a I love.
So the strength of their game, which is going to tell you why they won't beat Alabama, is they had 2 running backs run for 116 yards. They absolutely ran them into the ground. Literally, Joe Milton, their quarterback, threw for a touchdown and ran for 2 more. Tyon Evans and Jabari Small both ran for $116, averaging over 5 yards a carry. So translate that to any solid SEC team in the league, and we'll see how well we think Tennessee's going to do. But again, good breath of fresh air. How about Sark over there in Texas with the horns? Huh? How about Texas? I want to see Texas do good. I don't know why.
I hate Sark.
Oh, I wasn't a huge fan of him. I mean, even when he was leading us to national champions on offense, I still didn't like him that much.
I worried about him coming to Alabama, but I gotta be honest with you, got the job done.
At this point, when Nick's in charge, we can show that Nick's going to handle that. With Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian, now Bill O'Brien, who I'm not a big fan of Bill O'Brien at all, but whatever. Nick keeps him in line. But Texas,
I really thought Louisiana was going to win that game.
you didn't
did.
you predict Louisiana winning that game?
I did. They were returning. It was like 18 out of the 22 starters.
Yeah,
10 of them were on defense. They was a really good team. I didn't know what to expect from Texas after the pass. I was like, why not?
So here's one.
They said you were wrong again.
As we transition to talk about to pro football, let's talk about our picks from last week, shall we? Let's see who did what. We've mentioned it a couple times, but let's kind of see where it went. To start off, Boise State. Everybody picked Boise except for Ryan. So Ryan gets a feather in the cap.
Another book had gone south.
Now, Ryan is coming out the gate strong. He also picked NC State to destroy USF, and we all picked USF.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
Ohio State, only one of us picked Minnesota, and that was you, Mr. Nello.
It wasn't as bad as it.
Then finally we take one from Ryan. He picked UNC along with you. And Clay and I had Virginia Tech. That's a notch in the cap for us. Michigan State, Northwestern. Good Lord, I didn't even see who won this game.
Michigan State.
Michigan State. I'm pretty sure that's who we all picked except for Ryan. Oh, no, wait. Ryan's got us there too. We all picked Northwestern. Yep. Look at that. Ryan's killing us right now. Kansas State versus Stanford. He got us again. Stanford ended up losing that game, and he was the only one to pick Kansas State. Penn State. Me and Ryan lost that one.
We are Penn State.
You and Clay ended up going through that one. And then, hold on, this can't be right. Alabama, Miami. There's somebody who picked Miami.
It was all about the U last week.
Who picked Miami?
I even did the song and the jingle.
I would also like to say big shout out to Michael Bernstein. I appreciate that $20, my man. I gave him the 20 points or the 19 and a half.
Yeah.
I really thought
he Venmoed it to me about halfway through the third quarter.
Yep. And then we had all of us losing on the LSU UCLA pick. Every single one of us.
Still crazy to believe.
All of us
didn't want to just take Chip Kelly. I said I would never pick Chip Kelly, no matter.
And then Ryan picked FSU to beat Notre Dame. Damn, he almost got us there too.
Right, that would have been a hell of a
close,
week.
He looked as of right now. He's the pick leader right now in college.
Yeah, he's sweep.
And then he lost this one to me and Clay. We picked Georgia going to beat Clemson, which Nello and Ryan picked Clemson.
Naturally.
So that surprised nobody.
It was
at
10-3.
All right, let's do our picks for this week. Camilo, I'm gonna let you do our guest picking here, man. I'm gonna let you get in here and get a dog in the fight for this week. Now we picked the top 10. We got 12 games to go over. We picked the top 10 and a couple of outliers that were ranked just to see how they went. And I like to pick the Florida teams because hey, we're here based in Florida. So it only made sense.
I just will say Boise State gave up a 21-point lead.
They did.
Okay, that's it. That's all
I did not think Boise was going to do that, but hey, here we are.
I was so happy.
Let me get the pen if you don't mind, brother.
Right.
All right, so first game. This is stupid. We're all not going to. Nobody's picking Mercer. We got Bama.
I'm just playing.
I was about, dude, please book that.
I know.
Please.
Yeah.
Book that flight right now. Then we got Georgia going up against UAB, another easy one.
Yeah,
This is kind of an easy week. Then we've got Ohio State going up against Oregon. First maybe game.
I like it.
What do we got? I'm going OSU. That's where Jack is going.
Yeah, I'm going OSU as well, but I think Oregon's going to give them a hell of a fight.
I'll take Oregon speed.
Okay.
If
There's Nilla's
the run
first
game
loss.
if the run game worked if Minnesota's run game worked and it was one dimensional, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Ohio State, but I haven't even looked at what the spread is. Spread's 14.5. I don't know if they cover that. So, but straight up pick them. I gotta go Ohio State.
And that's how we're doing them for right now with the straight up for sure. Number 4, Oklahoma going up against Western Coastal Carolina, whatever it is. Everybody's going Oklahoma on that.
I don't know. We should Tulane covered last week, and I said it was going to be closer than. Okay, go on.
No, you want to pick Western Carolina?
Should just for shits and giggles.
You don't care how you end up at the end of the season. That's on you, man.
That is what it is.
A&M going into Colorado. I don't know where that game's being played, but it's A&M versus Colorado.
Yeah, it's in Colorado.
It's in Denver.
I'm still going to take Texas A&M.
So am I.
Yeah, Texas A&M, their program's outstanding, especially lately, man. Hell of a team.
Jimbo Fisher's turning that thing around.
And, yeah, he's doing a good job too.
We got Clemson going out against South Carolina State. I think Clemson is going to bury South Carolina
These
State.
are the games that these teams shouldn't be playing.
Nobody's going to be able to find
South.
South Carolina State after this week. They're hungry, man. They're going to go at Cincinnati versus Murray State. Cincinnati, we got that. Here's the big one. Here's game of the week for me. And it's Iowa State, Iowa. This is going to be, I think, an excellent game. Now, where are they playing?
I believe they're in Iowa.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pick Iowa to win that game.
They're in Iowa State.
Oh, yeah, we can call that one too. But as of right now, Iowa versus Iowa State, who's everybody got?
This is actually my pick to be the game of the week. This is going to be
That's a hell of a. It's going to be a good game if you
strong
like
game.
a defense game.
I think Iowa's going to end up edging it out though.
It's hard to pick against them at home. It's a rivalry game. Iowa State is a hell of a team.
It is at Iowa State. I was wrong. It's at Iowa State.
Oh, even
but
worse.
Still, I've learned to just never bet against Iowa unless it's just a ridiculous game because they've always been a disruptor to bigger teams. They're a tough team. I got to go with Iowa.
What about you, Nella? Where you at? You sitting at Iowa State, aren't you?
These games have been close every time. These past couple games, 2 or 3 years, I think Iowa State's defense is good. I think that Iowa State will win. For sure. I just think that he's going to finally edge him out. I like that coach.
Are you booking it though?
No. My book at this week's going to be
You're
NFL.
going with Iowa State?
I'll take Iowa State. I think that defense can stop Kurt Ferentz.
My pen's finally out of ink here. But that's okay. We got Iowa State going for Nello. And then I skipped number 8. We've got Notre Dame going up against Toledo.
Good Notre Dame.
Toledo.
Is that what you got?
I'll take Toledo. Toledo's good. Toledo's good game. Toledo's a good offensive team. If that defense, I mean, I don't know. Notre Dame didn't look good last week. I'll take Toledo.
They didn't look good, but I'm not picking Toledo over Notre
Toledo
Dame.
can't
That's
score
insanity.
against Notre Dame.
Dude, they score a
just
lot of
can't.
points. Look at their games overall.
Yeah.
They score a lot of points.
I'm going with Notre Dame as well. So here are the one pick'ems I wanted to pull out. A couple of Florida teams here. Actually, almost all Florida teams. We have, first and foremost, one that I was excited to see, number 15, Texas going against Arkansas. Who you guys got there?
Oh man.
That's
I'm gonna
a tough
go.
call.
I'm gonna go with Texas just because Sarkisian's one hell of an offensive coordinator. He seems to have fallen right into that job at Texas as the head coach. I got to go with Texas.
Yeah, I'm going Texas as well. But Arkansas's, they're not going to be rolled over easily. So they're going to put up a fight, but I think Texas edges it out. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't say that they're going to beat them by 10 points, but
I think this is a big time game for them. I mean, Arkansas is not like a powerhouse, but they're a decent team. They're an SEC team, and you want to tell me that Texas isn't going to be bragging if they beat an SEC team and have a lot of confidence boosted? You're crazy. I'm going with Texas in this one as well. Nothing against Arkansas. They just haven't shown me anything. They haven't given me a reason to think they can beat anybody.
Well, this is the year that, everybody's talking about Arkansas is getting better recruiting classes, playing better. This is the year where if they fall flat again, they're going to be written off again.
what was the name of the coach for Arkansas that got caught like cheating on his wife, got in a motorcycle accident?
Petrino, Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
That's the last time Arkansas was a really strong school.
Yeah, that's back when they had Darren McFadden.
Yes.
I mean, but that's probably the only offensive star I can think of.
I think Texas wins, but I could see Arkansas covering 6.5.
What is it with these SEC coaches?
Because like it's gonna if Arkansas can spread that defense, if they can spread and score points like they showed last week, then it'll be a shootout type game. So it'll be on Texas's defense.
You know why Lane Kiffin left FAU and went to
And
Ole
they looked
Miss?
really good against Louisiana.
Because it's an SEC school.
Terry Bowden cheated on his wife, ruined Auburn after an undefeated season. Now and then Petrino
Cheated on
Now
his
it's
wife,
Lane's turn.
ruined Arkansas.
because Lane is a womanizer.
Is he really?
Yeah,
I haven't.
big time.
When I saw him at Big Lots this weekend, I was asking him about that. He was kind of
Oh,
guarded.
you mean Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, wasn't he the one who got caught with the burner phone?
It was never been.
Come on.
It's
All right,
rumor,
yeah.
but it's one of those.
So he
rumors
likes
that
the
pretty much-
ladies.
Yikes!
Oh, he was taking pics and putting them on Twitter within a week with co-eds when he moved down to FAU.
At least he wasn't Brett Favre.
Oh wow!
True.
All right, let's go. Miami, Appalachian State. Yeah, I know you got an upset on this one, buddy.
Oh my gosh!
Come on, Nello.
You know what? I like Appalachian State again. Like what? I don't know.
No
Miami just
freaking way.
Miami didn't show you anything, and Appalachian State's defense looked good.
So App State's been good. I've been watching them close. My wife's cousin played for him. He's now at the Falcons. They had a really great offensive line, but him and like three others left. Maybe if they were still there, and that they had a really good running back there that's gone as well. Maybe if it was last year, I'd take him, but I think Miami's.
I don't know. Miami just looks so bad.
What you think? What's your pick?
Appalachian State.
Oh wow!
Look, Miami, after the game they had, they have to prove to their fan base and even to the alumni association that they're going to come out there to win. So they're going to pull out all stops against Appalachian State.
I agree.
I think Appalachian covers.
You talk about a hot
I think
seat.
Appalachian covers. at
You were
least.
talking about Brian Kelly hot seat. If Manny Diaz does not have a winning season, that may be the shortest coaching tenure at the University of Miami.
How
in
long has he
history.
been there?
This is his second year.
Yeah, you can't fire a guy after 2 years.
Oh,
You can.
You
Oh, you
absolutely
definitely
Not with the
can.
history Miami's coaching.
Florida's
is.
fired.
I-
Somebody
I
after 2
don't.
years.
I don't think they will, but I think they can. This is, I think, a no-brainer. Unless somebody's trying to be an agitator, but we got Florida going against USF. Florida's dominating
gotta
that
be
game.
Florida. I mean,
Even if it was USF from a couple
Yeah.
of years ago, it wasn't the embarrassment
There have
that
been
we
some
saw
good
this
USF
past week.
teams.
There has been, absolutely. I still think Florida takes it. It's great defense, man.
they're just not there.
Yeah.
They're just
Then
not
we got
there.
the Knowles going up against Jacksonville State.
Got to go the Knowles.
Yeah, that's a
Knowles
gimme.
are taking that one.
Where does Jacksonville State play?
I will say this.
I'm not trying. I just didn't know. I didn't even know they
You
existed.
talk about Milton. I will probably watch more Florida State games this season
To
just
see
to watch
McKenzie.
him because he was awesome at UCF. I mean, just the guy made these. I'm not going to say he's Aaron Rodgers, but he's got that just crazy accuracy where he just flicks his wrist and it's 40 yards right on the button.
Yeah, his release
You know,
is really
it's-
good.
it's-
that
he's
fluidity,
amazing.
it just looks like slow motion, almost like so like crisp.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
He
weird.
makes those
mechanics are
plus
on point.
30-yard throws look like somebody else has thrown a 5-yarder. It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Mahomes and Rodgers are really the only two in the league right now that you see that, where they don't even have to really extend the elbow. They just do a little flick like that. I mean, it's just It's
Rodgers,
amazing.
Josh Allen,
Rodgers
too.
is still a
Josh Allen too.
he's still a gunslinger. Rodgers is the guy that you don't know the ball's gone until you see it in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the monopoly on that to me. But,
and the accuracy with it too.
I mean, he's no Jalen Hurts, but
Come on, baby, because it hurts so good.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break on that. Please, let's all try to mentally reset after hearing those notes.
I'm just saying, it hurts so good.
My ears are bleeding.
Oh, there it is.
We'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of integrity. Mid-season? Damn it, again!
Oh, boy, and we're back. Getting ready to get into a little NFL, baby. Week 1!
Best time of year.
I cannot wait. Thursday, boys. You're listening to this today. That means tomorrow football will be in your ears, mouth, and nose area.
America's team is playing America's X team.
Ooh.
Let's go, Bucks.
Well, I just think that the Cowboys were never America's team.
That's false, and
they absolutely were.
They absolutely were. And you know what? They absolutely are. I don't need the Bucks to be America's team. They're my team, baby. Let's win that Super Bowl. Oh, we just did.
Oh, good job.
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
Do we want to talk
I don't know about this do it again stuff?
Do we want to talk about the power rankings again, Nello? Did you want to jump into that? You want to talk power rankings? You don't want to talk about... Okay, we'll move on. So...
We don't need to talk about power rankings. Obviously, the Bucks are going to be in the top half of the league. They just won the Super Bowl.
Let's go through week 1.
With 22 returning starters.
Yeah. Let's go through week 1, and let's do our picks for the week and talk a little fantasy football along the way, shall we?
Fantasy football.
Let's do it.
I know some of this directly affects me. I know all you boys are dealing with that too, but it's going to be a rough week for me in fantasy football land. I already know. I'm not excited about it, okay? I'm worried. I think whoever I'm playing, Camilla, I think you know this guy. Let me pull him up here. The team who knows. Who's a fantasy rookie. I doubt that. Golly, what's his name? I don't know. Team who knows. He has Tannehill, Gibson, Carson, Tyreek Hill, Robert Woods, Logan Thompson, Brandon Cooks, Broncos D, and Casey's kicker. And he's going up against a clearly superior team, but he's projected to beat me.
Those projections are they're out of
I don't
whack.
ever go by projections.
Yeah.
That's just...
Especially the first few weeks.
So let's go through these. Nello, I'm going to hand it over to you because you got the season sitting right in front of you.
Talk to me.
I'm talking to you right now.
That's what I'm saying. Talk to me.
Jesus Christ. Did he not have the shit in front of him and wanted to say what the teams were? That's all right. I'll do it.
Wait. We're talking about our league, right?
We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going against the Dallas Cowboys.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Cowgirls. That's right. Week 1, the banners are going up. This is an easy one.
Okay.
Easy game.
Let's hear it. Who you got, Nello? I want to hear you say it.
I will take your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, fire the cannons, Buccaneers. Mike Evans just put his penis in the ear hole of a Dallas Cowboy.
And the Cowboy liked it.
Yeah.
This is a rough game for me, man, because fantasy studs here are going to be the Tom Brady's of the world. They're going to be the Mike Evans, the Chris Godwins. It's hard to say who's going to do the best here because Godwin is now limited in practice with a hamstring injury. AB's been out for a couple days with a knee. But my thing is I've got Ezekiel Elliot going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 1 run-stopping defense.
Good luck.
Right.
Good luck.
I wouldn't start Elliott.
No, you can't. Okay, that's wrong, too.
Well, now here's why I
pick.
have to start him because my backups are Leonard Fournette and Devin Singletary. So it's not like I've got a lot of options, and Zeke is a Cadillac on that offense.
You got to hope for a touchdown out of him.
Yeah, I got to hope for a garbage.
You could start
touchdown.
Singletary and hope that Josh Allen throws him the ball.
I am
in a
right
PPR
there
league.
with
It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be a bad play
But Zach Moss
because of
is
what
gonna
he's
take
saying. But
that
you don't
stuff.
sit easy in any circumstance. Once you draft him, that's it.
Listen, Josh
your guy.
Allen has more rushing touchdowns than Ezekiel Elliott.
I know, but he had a bad year last year. Let's just talk frank. But the problem with this week is no offensive line. Zach Martin being out with COVID That's a big blow to that O-line.
And that's why I'm upset that I have Amari Cooper this week, and I've got to start him. I cannot put anybody else in for him, and I'm a little bit worried about Dak being able to get the ball.
Well, who do you have on the bench?
Let's see. Curtis Samuel, no.
That's not a bad guy.
Jacoby Myers.
No, you're not going to start Myers. Although Mac Jones,
but
they're going against the Dolphins.
All right, so hold on. Let's
Cobb.
finish this game first. Let's finish the Buccaneers. If we've got anybody in this game, then we'll move on and talk about that. All right, so I've got Evans as well, who I think I'm going to have to keep in there. I think Evans
have to keep him too.
gets himself a touchdown this week.
Especially with Godwin and AB being banged up.
I mean, let's be honest. That suspect Cowboys defense, he might get 2 of them.
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a good. My pick is obviously the Buccaneers. I think we're all on the Bucs on this one.
Yeah. They just can't lose right there. First game after the Super Bowl, they're at home.
Primetime game.
No, it's Brady time.
It's a great offense against a very questionable, especially secondary of Dallas, which Brady will destroy.
It pains me because I love Trevon Diggs because he was a Bama boy, but he's going to get smoked.
And I mean, no Zach Martin and Dak's first real game back. That's a tough ask.
I don't think there's nerves for Dak, but I think they're going to protect him knowing that Buccaneers defense is going to be laying hats and they are going to be flying around. Especially, I think we see Joe Tryon get in there and get a couple splash plays.
Oh, absolutely. And Dan Quinn being the defensive coordinator for Dallas now, Brady just knows how to pick apart Dan Quinn's defenses. So and especially it being a defense that's just, even though they're still rebuilding, I mean, they lost Sean Lee, right? They did pick up
Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
That kid is going to be a stud.
Yeah, he will.
Absolutely.
Those Penn State linebackers, they always are. They can do 2 things. They can read offenses and they can tackle like a motherfucker.
Yeah, tackling machine.
Yeah, that's what you know when you're getting a Penn State linebacker.
But they don't have the secondary to play with those wideouts.
Tackle and fuel.
No, and even the front 4 there just aren't going to get the job done against the offensive line that Tampa has.
I am curious to see the timeshare in the Bucs backfield between Rojo and Fournette.
Which is why Fournette is not jumping into a starting spot for me, because I personally feel like Ronald Jones is still the lead back. He almost went for 1,000 last year. If he shows a little bit more ball security, he'll get there.
It'll be interesting to see how they use Giovanni Bernard, and for those people who drafted him late in those fantasy drafts, how that works out.
He also was injured this week in practice, so keep that in the back of your mind.
He's back now. They're saying
was he a full participant?
Yep.
Nice.
He's back practicing, so he's good to go. Because I actually drafted him late, just somebody that Brady is going to rely on to check down, and he's going to get a lot of PPR play. So
yeah, nice. Who you got next, Nello?
It's my book and moment of the week right now, guys.
Oh, boy.
I believe the next game is Eagles-Falcons in Atlanta.
Yeah, we got how many 1 o'clock games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going next with Eagles in Atlanta.
Eagles in Atlanta. I booked the Eagles winning. I'm booking it. I just think that we don't know what we're going to get, but I just Atlanta, I don't know. That defense.
Where are you going?
I got to go Falcons.
Oh, you've got the family member on the Falcons. He'd be disowned if he didn't.
Well, but they're at home too, and I think Pitt's gonna have a really good first game. I think you're gonna see he's built for the NFL.
Yeah,
I know Julio's gone, but
Calvin Ridley.
I just don't know. I just don't know how they stop Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. I don't know.
Our defensive line is gonna have to show up, and I just don't think that the O-line for Atlanta can contain them.
Who you got?
I'm going Atlanta. Kyle Pitts' debut. Ridley obviously taking the starting nod, but you can't even overlook Gage either. He's going to be a stud as well.
Darius Slay still plays for the Eagles.
I think it's a much closer game than people think it's going to be. I am actually hard-pressed to pick against the Eagles, but I got to say I think the Falcons have too many weapons on offense, and the difference here, I think, is going to be Matt Ryan and how long he's been with these guys and how well that's going to translate onto the field. But I think it's a high-scoring game, and I think we see our first Bama connection in that one with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts and Devontae Devontae Smith.
I told you
Oh,
what
yeah,
happens
for
if
sure.
it happens in week 1.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We all know we get a big fat roll tide out of Nello.
You'll
if we
get
do
it.
that.
But
I hope it happens just for that.
I don't think the Falcons.
I would prefer it be Panay a la vodka with a side of Roll Tide. but
Oh,
whatever.
hello.
Yourself. I don't know. I think our defense can contain the Falcons' offense. I don't think.
I still think you have questions in the secondary, and that's where you're going to need the most help, because if they can get quick dumps to these guys, Pitts in the open field, Ridley in the open field, that's hard to stop no matter who you are.
And like, who's going to run the ball in Atlanta? I know Mike Davis. It's going to be. I don't know. I just don't trust him either.
Yeah, I think it's a hard pick for you to go against the Eagles. It's not going to happen. You're realistic, but you know that's a tough ask. Who you got next?
Josiah Scott. Is he a starting cornerback for you guys?
No.
Okay. I saw the injury report. He's out.
Who you got next, Nello?
It would be Maddox and McPherson. Would be 1 and 2.
Got you.
The Jets at the Panthers.
This is one we disagree on because we talked about it before the game started, or for the podcast started. I am going with the Jets.
Wow.
I think the young rookie is going to go into the Panthers and pull himself out of victory. Yeah, I think Zach Wilson is going to show himself. I don't think the Panthers have enough leadership on offense. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening for them. And plus, they're a division rival, and I hate them.
I think this will definitely be a lackluster game. I don't know. I mean, it's a coin flip of garbage, honestly, in my opinion. I don't want the Panthers to win, but I'm going to pick the Panthers
What's a
solely
coin-
because they're at home.
What's a
That's
coin-
it.
I mean, we're not seeing anybody. Who's the tight end, the wide receiver they just got? Not Davis. They just got him from Tennessee. A.J. Brown. Which one of them? Either A.J. Brown or Corey Davis
A.J.
went
Brown's
to the
still at Tennessee.
Yeah, so Corey Davis went to
Corey
the
Davis
Jets.
went to the Jets, but I'm actually more interested in seeing Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson play together.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Or what is his name? Wilson? I don't even know. The kid that they drafted out of BYU, the Jets QB.
Oh,
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. Yeah. I think he's going to be a stud. I don't know. I don't know who else is going to perform. Neither one of those defenses or anything I'm trying to put in my roster on fantasy. But
What do you got, Camilla?
Yeah, I'm calling the Jets to win this one, and I can't wait to see that if they do lose, what his mom's going to say on Twitter, because she is very vocal.
Zach
And
Wilson's mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's you got to follow her. It's
I think you guys are underestimating that Panthers defense. And the Panthers offense with Teddy Bridgewater last year, who doesn't throw that good of a deep ball, was throwing a good deep ball, had a really good receiver core. And what's the guy? The guy on the outside, Anderson. Robbie Anderson is still
Anderson,
there.
yeah,
With
yeah.
Sam Darnold, who can actually throw the ball. And Christian McCaffrey's back.
Yeah. Now Christian
I'll take the
McCaffrey's he's for sure elite. He's going to be good. But I still think
And
they
Matt
don't have.
Rule
I
is
don't
still
think
a
they
good
have it on
coach.
defense, man. I think if the Jets can control the clock, they win. Anyway,
It's going to be a bad game, though. It's going to be a defense.
or McCaffrey's going to go out and eat everybody alive. Who knows?
It's going to be interesting to see, though, Darnold now coming from the Jets, being on the Panthers, playing the Panthers, and they're fresh. The Jets have their fresh new quarterback starting, so that's going to make it an interesting element. But as far as like skill game, it's not going to be a game to watch for anything other than just the controversy of the two.
Yeah, we might find out who was right there, the Jets or Sam Darnold.
I like Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule will be able to outcoach Salah the first game, his pro debut.
Okay. Who's next on the list?
Next game, Chargers at the Washington football team.
This is a tough one.
This is a very tough one.
This is
tough
a
game.
really, really tough one to pick for me. I love defense. I think that Washington has one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah, they definitely have the best defensive line in the league.
Yeah,
Nobody
For
is
sure.
touching them.
For sure.
Front seven, absolutely.
Their front seven is just lights out. But then you look over and see Justin Herbert. And his offense, and behind him, year two. I think I got to go Chargers on this one because they've got the better balanced team. I think they are not top heavy like the Washington football team is. They are top heavy on defense, and then you got to hope that their offense can get down the field. Chargers, I think, are well more rounded. I'm picking the Chargers.
I'm going to pick the Chargers as well because I think Herbert, we're going to see him. He's going to be elite.
Yeah.
You know, the first year last year, you can't really judge him by that. He was hot, cold, but typically he's going to have less cold, more hot as he gets more and more years. I do hate the fact that I have Austin Eckler.
I
against
don't.
that front seven.
I was going to say I think he's going to be the equalizer, and I think he's going to be the thing that keeps the Chargers in the game a lot because he's going to be good for screens and draws and take advantage of that crazy aggressive front seven for Washington. So I don't think Eckler's a bad play there. Now, if they're trying to run him off tackle and establish a running game, that's a bad day. If I'm Eckler, I'm like, man, my hip is doing something weird. I don't know.
I think he's going to get me a lot of PPR points. I'm just not sure about, he's always pretty good for several big plays a game. I don't think we're going to see that. Hopefully they can get down the field and get a touchdown for me. But either way, I got to take the Chargers. Like Jack said, they got the best first seven, but that's basically where all their talent is on defense.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. I mean, like Jack was saying, they're a well-balanced team, but Herbert having all these new shiny weapons, last year there was what he had his top receiver and his top running back, and that was pretty much it. Now he's got some shiny new toys.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna ball out, and unfortunately Washington, I mean, just as an organization, they're a disaster. So, but
can't even pick a name.
Yeah, the front seven is going to be solid, but their offense is questionable at best.
Yeah. Who'd you pick for that one, Noah?
I don't know, man. This is tight. It's the spread is -1, and I don't know. The Washington defense is really good, like really good.
Yeah.
And the Chargers' weakest point last year was their O-line.
And you picked Washington to win that division.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good team. This is the toughest one we've had so far.
And I have, in a lot of leagues, I have Herbert and Eckler handcuffed because I think they're going to have a great year. And I think they're going to have a decent game, but I got to take Washington.
Yeah. All right.
At home, I don't know. That defense, man. It's early. I think the offense, they got to click. And I don't know. That offensive line is still suspect.
And if Washington gets out in front early, it might be a tough game. They might be able to hold on to that.
And Washington now has 2 receivers in McLaurin and Samuel. So,
all right, who you got next?
The 49ers at the Lions.
Okay, so the Lions have gone through so much, and now they've got their new head coach. They've got a new attitude in Detroit. They didn't pick a wide receiver first overall for the first time in 1,000 years. They've got Penei Sewell. They're at home. They're going to get fucking destroyed by the 49ers. It really doesn't matter. The 49ers are going to roll them. And this is where we find out if Dan Campbell is a hype man or if he's a good head coach.
I mean, yeah.
It's San Fran.
Not to mention, you got rid of your best player. Matt Stafford doesn't play for you anymore. You got the poor man's Matt Stafford for Matt Stafford.
He did go to a Super Bowl.
Come on.
He did go to a Super Bowl.
With the #1 defense in the league that year.
Yeah, they're getting drummed.
Yeah, dude, Lions, I feel bad for those.
I mean,
sorry, Detroit. I want you guys to do well. I really do. I'm rooting for you, but damn, this is a bad one to open up the season against.
But I'm going to tell you this right now. This Goff trade for Stafford, they got a lot. So if they fuck this up, then Detroit just, I don't know.
Yeah.
2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders 2 years in a row. 4 picks.
Yeah.
In the top 2 rounds.
And a serviceable quarterback. I don't mean to talk that much trash about Jared Goff, but Stafford was just
a different boy.
So this is another interesting thing that we're finally going to get to see, right? You think of Detroit, you think of Barry Sanders, you think of Megatron, you think of these ultra-talented players that are arguably the best ever to go to this stinker of a team. And you always say, if they played for another team, they'd have a Super Bowl. Well, here's Matt Stafford. Here's somebody who's a stud for them. He's not an all-time great at his position, but he's a damn good quarterback. So we'll see this year if Matt Stafford is pretending or if he's going to go out and ball out like we all think he's going to. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Does anybody have anything to add in this game? I think
no. It's a consensus.
Yeah, I mean, it's over. San Fran's got a great offense. They got a great defense too.
Yeah,
it's going to be a bludgeoning.
This next game is going to be really telling of the Steelers season.
Oh, gosh.
Steelers Bills.
So this is my other dilemma. This is my other dilemma because I have Najee Harris. So think about my running backs. I've got Zeke going against the Bucks and Najee going against the Bills. I think 2 of the top 5 defenses in the league, period.
That's a rough schedule to start with.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's PPR that might help me a little bit with Najee, but I'm going Bills. I mean, listen, baby, I love you. My wife's a huge Steeler fan. I can't pick them. There's no way. I think the Bills are going straight to the Super Bowl this year, and Pittsburgh is not going to be the team to stand in their way.
Pittsburgh's not going to roll over, but Bills win. No TJ Watt. What are we talking about? That defense is going to be missing the sacks leader last year, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the
Is
top.
he still holding out?
Yeah. No money. They're not even talking. I don't know. It's getting nasty. This contract
is a
negotiation is
Pittsburgh
getting
thing,
nasty.
man. It's a Pittsburgh thing.
Well, and they're way off too. So it's like, he's getting paid $10 million this season, and he's like, I'm worth more than that. And they're like, yeah, but not that much. And it's going to be a problem. He's going to be holding out.
There's
for
no guarantees
weeks.
down the line is basically the sticking point on what I heard the contract was.
It's another thing though, is Pittsburgh isn't somebody that they're like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. You just don't negotiate with Pittsburgh. You negotiate with them when they're ready to negotiate with you.
Yeah, but so there's no way. I don't think that defense can keep up with that offense without TJ Watt.
I agree. All right, so are we all picking the Bills?
Yeah, I'm picking the Bills.
Yeah.
That offense is going to be fun to watch this year, throughout the year, and I'm with you. I think they will be the AFC's representative in the Super Bowl.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think they're going to, especially if they get home field late in the year.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be hard to go to Buffalo and win a football game.
yeah. I mean, it gets cold in Kansas City, but it ain't that cold.
That game is still available. I'm just saying.
We'll talk. We'll talk
I've
after
been to
this.
Buffalo
We'll talk.
December. That is bone chilling.
It's nasty.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
When that
We're going to
comes
go
off
to
of
the
that-
Monday night game.
That is your knee hurts from inside in the AC. All right, who you got next?
Oh, big game. Carson Wentz debut for the Indianapolis Colts. Seahawks Colts.
Colts win. It's in Indianapolis. Colts win.
Who wants the next one?
Hold on. I'm going Seahawks in that game.
I like it.
I'm going Colts because they're at home and that defense is stellar.
And their offense, I think, has had a lot of upgrades, but Carson Wentz is the anomaly. It'll weigh on him on how he can move because they've got great skill players and a serviceable offensive line. But the reason I go Colts like that is their defense is just so good. Hopefully it carries over, but Seahawks are not a team to be rolled over.
Well, Russell Wilson, the first 6 weeks of every NFL season, always has what looks to be this MVP year. So the first 6 weeks, he's almost unstoppable. After that, things kind of obviously fall off.
Yeah.
But, I just think that Seahawks roll over on the Colts.
I blame
despite
Sierra.
the defense.
The Seahawks win. I don't think it's a rollover. I just like Russell Wilson this year, and now he has a tight end that can catch the ball.
Yeah.
I just love that Colts defense. I loved watching them last year.
I know, but that offense with Carson and all the injuries and the wideouts and the O-line.
Yeah, but you know, it's big risk, big reward because they have a lot of excellent players. Although Ty is still out right now, but
Ty's out.
They got
He's
Michael
out,
Pittman.
IR.
They got Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Taylor's the running back.
Taylor.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? John Stewart.
They
Jonathan
got Doyle.
Taylor.
They have Mo Ali Cox. They have Zach Pascal. But
Yeah.
when you don't have Ty, I don't know. That offensive line scares me with all the injuries.
Can they run the ball? Because we can't say that the Seahawks defense is still the Legion of Boom that it once was.
And
Yeah,
I
those
think
days
Carson
are gone.
Wentz is weak. So
Yeah. All right. Who you got next?
Vikings Bengals
Oh, man.
in Cincinnati.
I'm taking the Vikings. I think Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are just one reason because that Vikings defense can bang too. I think they're going to dominate.
Yeah, I got to take the Vikings. Even though it's in Cincy, I'm taking them.
I think this can be a fairly close game, though. The Bengals are putting together and they're reorganizing, but I think the Vikings take the lead there and get the W.
So you think it's closer than people think?
Absolutely.
Now, so the Bengals, you're absolutely right. Joe Burrow, his buddy Jamar Chase just showed up. They got T. Higgins out there. They got Joe Mixon. The problem is who's on defense for them? Because the way the Vikings like to play offense, they love to eat your clock for lunch. So if you have Dalvin Cook running down the field, they're going to not have a lot of opportunities. So Joe Burrow is going to have to be successful, I think, on fewer drives and cash in. And the problem there is can you do that before they beat the clock?
The real question, too, in Cincy is him coming back from that injury as well. How's he going to perform? Is he going to be confident in the pocket against a defense that their defensive line will come get you
Yeah.
quickly? So That's going to be the real question mark. So I think that's why I'm leaning Vikings. But I think the Bengals are a better team than people give them credit for.
No, that whole division is going to be good this year. So you're taking Bengals?
No, I'm taking Vikings.
Oh, okay.
I like the Bengals air offense versus the Vikings secondary. And I don't know much, like in the few preseason games I saw the Vikings, I know it's preseason, but the defense just doesn't scare me, if that makes sense. And so I think the Cincinnati Bengals have just so many weapons. They've got Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
They've got Taj Boyd. They've got Higgins. They've got Jamar. I just think it's too much for the Vikings to control. And I think that maybe the Bengals front seven can cause just a little bit of havoc to where Kirk Cousins feels shaky and they can get a few turnovers. I'll take the Bengals.
The problem I see with that is when you've got a guy like Dalvin Cook and then
Right.
you've got Adam Thielen and Jefferson, it's hard. You got to pick and choose your blitz packages.
Not to mention, can they get after them with 4?
I mean, they have to stop Dalvin Cook.
That's the big thing is you can't you can stack the box, but if you're not watching the outside, Dalvin Cook's going to punish you. And there's always the deep ball threat with Jefferson and Thielen out there.
But that's why the defensive line comes in. Like, it's so important.
Yeah.
And the Vikings lost their big tackle in Rafe, right?
Yeah, but they also got, what is it, big Kevin Williams back? Didn't they get him in the offseason? They just got a big defensive lineman to join them again.
Didn't they lose Kyle Rudolph too? Didn't they lose him to free agency?
Yeah, he went to the Giants.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I
we'll
think
get back to
I
that
got the
defensive
Bengals.
line, but who we got
I
next?
got the Bengals. Next one, good. Urban Meyer's debut. Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer go to Houston to take on the Houston Texans.
Yeah, who just named a starter today. Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter for the Houston Texans.
The Jags had to have loved hearing that.
Yeah, of course. And I don't see the Texans being able to win this game, despite the fact that they're going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, it's not that they're that much better. It's just that the Texans are suffering that badly.
Yeah.
They have nobody to catch the ball, nobody to throw the ball. Mark Ingram running the ball behind one of the worst offensive lines in football.
I just want to say this is the one week where I feel so bad if I was living in the Houston or Jacksonville area and this was the only game that I could watch out of all these other good games.
So I'm picking the Jags to win in Houston.
Yeah, I got the Jags. What are we even
I'm
talking
picking
about?
the Jags as well.
And I not this isn't just because I have Trevor Lawrence starting for me.
I mean, this is the week you want him to start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because after that, he might be taking the bench.
I dislike Urban Meyer so much, but the way he did Florida.
No,
but, there's no
Etienne.
way I can take
Yeah.
Houston over Jacksonville. There's just no way.
Do we have any other offensive weapons on the Texans we can name besides
Mark Ingram?
Is he there?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the only one you can name.
Anybody else? I didn't even know he was there. so.
No. Yeah, they have the other wide receiver. Golly, what's his name? It's not D. Hopkins. He gets hurt every year.
No,
I forget his
Fuller
name.
went
Fuller.
to Miami.
So don't even have Fuller.
Atkins,
Oh,
I guess,
God.
the tight end.
Yeah, no. Get him out of here.
Next game. Oh, Brian's not here to predict this. I feel so bad. But it's Cardinals-Titans in Tennessee.
In Tennessee. That's an important distinction. I'm calling the Titans winning that one.
Yeah,
I think the Titans have too good of an offense right now, and their defense is going to be just as good as it was last year. I mean, like people say, oh, you brought in J.J. Watt to take care of Derrick Henry. J.J. Watt was with Houston. He couldn't stop Derrick Henry then. He can't stop Derrick Henry now.
I was surprised the line's only -3 on this one for the Titans. I'm
Yeah.
taking the Titans. I don't think, even with DeAndre Hopkins being at Arizona and Kyler Murray is a great quarterback, I just don't see how you stop the Titans.
No,
I mean,
remember-
Julio, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I want to say Cardinals so bad because I think it's going to be closer. That 3 points, they might be able to cover that. But I can't. That defense, there's just too many weapons, like you said.
Yeah.
Henry, Brown, and Frisker. I don't know, too many weapons. I don't think the Arizona can do it. But I think it's a shootout. I think it's an over.
Oh,
game.
yeah. It's definitely one I'm taking the over.
Nice.
Now, remember when J.J. Watt said he wanted to go to a team that was going to win a Super Bowl, and then he picked the Cardinals?
The
Was anybody
Cardinals.
else shocked?
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute. Of all the teams
Yeah.
that
If they
that
would
had
have
a
kept
shot,
Kenyon Drake, because like you got to think now they have 2 injury-prone running backs too.
David Johnson. No,
Chase Edmonds and James Conner.
Yeah.
They have 2 injury-prone running backs right now. One gets hurt, then the other one gets hurt. There's nobody there, which is a proven commodity. I mean, in Baltimore, who just lost their 2nd running back.
Yeah, for the year.
Yeah,
in practice.
Yeah,
I think we're all on the Titans on that one.
Mac Jones debut, Dolphins Patriots.
Oh boy,
this is a tough one to pick.
Who wants to go first here?
At the end of the day, I don't care who wins. I just get to watch Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa play against each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Unfortunately, I'm going to need a winner there, sport. So
come back to me.
I'm taking the kid. I'm taking Mac.
Ooh,
I love Tua, but New England has had Miami's number for a while, and this is going to be the quarterback that Belichick has wanted. He's somebody who's clearly excelled. I think he's more of a game manager than Tua. Tua is, I think, more physically talented, although he hasn't shown it. But Mac, I mean, shoot, when we're talking progression into the pros, where Tua was in camp last year going into the season to where Mac is right now going into the season, I think this is going to end up being the same thing that they've had with Brady all these years. Is it the system or is it the guy? It's a good system. And Belichick knows how to make nothing out of, make something out of nothing. And I think the Patriots can do it.
I'll take the Dolphins.
In Foxborough.
I'll take the Dolphins.
I'm going to take the Patriots because it is in Foxborough. I think Mac is going to be a better pro quarterback. He's a pro quarterback by definition.
Yeah.
But he's going against the 2 best corners in the NFL in his NFL debut.
Sure is.
That's not an easy ask. I don't think he's going to look terrible. I just think Miami's defense looks really good. It looked really good last year, and they got help for him at wide receiver. Jacek's still there. I don't know. I like Miami.
I think you make an excellent point about their defense, and Mac is a guy who likes to play over the middle, which he likes to utilize the tight ends, and he'll use the dump off, and he'll take the short route, which the slant route in the NFL, doesn't matter how good your corners are. I mean, it's going to be a matter of how they play. Are they going to get big booming plays up over the top? Are they going to be hitting posts right over the center of the field? I don't think so. But I think they will dink and dunk and manage the clock, and it's going to be who makes the mistake.
If New England can establish a running game with Damian Harris, they'll win the game.
Which they might be.
I think this game decisively is for the Patriots because, listen, New England's defense is nothing to balk out either. They're pretty outstanding themselves. Tua isn't the guy. Miami doesn't even believe Tua's the guy for them. That's why they're looking to trade for a quarterback. I just don't see that the Dolphins can put it together on offense against that defense. And Mac Jones, yes, he's going up against I think
the best 1-2 pitch,
the best corners in the league, the best tandem in the league at least. But still, like Jack was saying, I mean, he's got to hit his brand new shiny tight ends across the middle.
Is Hunter Henry going to play that game? I thought it was
as
hurt.
Of right now, I think
hurt.
he's still hurt. Yeah,
yeah, he's got an injury designation.
Who's he got? Who's the other one that came over to play?
Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, Jonnu Smith.
He's questionable, so Hunter Henry will probably play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a decisive.
I don't think it's that decisive, guys. Dolphins are still a team.
This is
they
just
got Jalen Waddle. They still have Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker is one. Jalen Waddle.
I love Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker is fast. Like people talk about Tyreek Hill all the time. Devontae Parker's fast.
And he's got excellent hands. I can't recall him having notable drops in a game. He just doesn't drop the ball. Right. He's really, really good.
He just hasn't had that quarterback. If he was on the Chiefs, he'd be right there as number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm still going to pick the Patriots just because, listen, I love Tua, obviously. I think if you take away the greatest throw in NCAA football history to win that national championship, I think if you take that away, there's not a whole lot more wow moments from Tua.
Yeah.
And that just is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And just look, he wasn't getting the job done against Georgia the next year, and they had to pull him out, and Jalen Hurts came in and saved us.
Yep.
I'm not as sold on Tua as a lot of people are.
I just think that the Dolphins are ahead right now. In game 2, when they play again, maybe the Patriots will be ahead. But if you're telling me a rookie quarterback comes in with who's a receiver for the New England Patriots besides Jacoby Myers?
Name me one from the last 10 years not named Julian Edelman or Rob Gronkowski.
But who was there before?
I'm just saying, man. That's what I say when I say that Belichick makes something out of nothing.
And that hurts me to say that. What I just said.
Yeah.
Listen, whoever the receiver is for the Patriots, the guy was bagging groceries last week, but next week he's going to have 3 touchdowns
against those tight ends.
He's got to get out of the game early to hit
his
his shift at Subway. All right, let's get into some more of these primetime games. We got 4:00 games, then we got primetime.
This is the best. Broncos Giants. What a matchup! Don't get too excited there, Jack.
I'm not, but I'm going Broncos. I think they've got a good defense. They've got that kid throwing the football for him, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I'd take the Broncos too.
Yeah, I got Broncos.
The Giants, Saquon Barkley, I think they're going to give him some kid gloves to come back. I don't think they're going to give him 40 carries in the first game off that big knee. And I don't think they're going to win that game.
I didn't even know until just now he's listed as questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it was at week 1, I'd probably go Giants.
It's too much infighting going on in New York. I don't know what's going on in that locker room.
Right.
They're unhappy up there, too. Joe Judge.
I got to go Denver. I think we're going to see the emergence of Jerry Jeudy, and I think it's going to come out hot in week 1.
Yeah,
I think Noah Fant's going to have a good game as long as he's fully healthy. I know he's got a questionable designation, but
there's really too many weapons on that Denver offense for the Giants defense to cover.
Jerry Jeudy, baby.
Jerry Judy's going to be
KJ
arguably
Hamler,
one of
Cortland Sutton, Noah
one of the
Fant.
best route runners in the league right now.
Yeah. You're going to see him shine this year, and I think it starts week 1.
Yeah, and I think Bridgewater's going to stand out a little bit. I think that system in Denver is just a better fit for him. He's always,
He'll
after
have more
his injury,
protection.
yeah, and after his injury in Minnesota, like he's never gone to a team that really kind of suited him. Where I think in Denver he does have the receiver core there. He's got, like you said, protection. I think Bridgewater is going to have a breakout year in Denver.
They clearly see something in him because Drew Lock was having a good preseason. That kid put it all on the field, and I thought he was going to be the starter.
But I think that's like Vic Fangio's problem is that Drew Lock is too gunslinger for him, and Teddy Bridgewater is a little bit more
Do what the coach tells me.
Yeah, he's a little bit more conservative, and he likes that.
When was the last time Teddy Bridgewater started the season as a starting quarterback?
Last year,
last year
was
Carolina.
It last year?
Yeah,
that's right. I keep forgetting that he played.
Which they were having a run, and then he got hurt.
yeah.
I keep forgetting that.
Next game,
Next game.
Packers Saints, and when the Saints come marching in with Jameis and his LASIK
in Jacksonville.
Let's give this one, Camilla. What you got?
In New
Camilla,
Orleans.
What do you have?
I got Packers on this one, and Jameis, even with LASIK, I still think that he might throw for 5,000 yards, but he's still going to throw 20, 30 picks easily.
Yeah, it wasn't just his vision. He likes to make dumb throws.
This is a decent secondary to test that theory, too, because Green Bay doesn't play around in the secondary. They're going to take the ball away from him if he makes a bad decision.
Oh, yeah.
That unit's been together for a long time, and the Saints right now, for the first time in a long time, aren't going to be able to lean on number 9. They are going to have somebody else make those decisions for them, and I don't think their defense is enough to slow down A-Rod, so I'm going Packers, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the Packers. I just don't. It's the Saints.
If it was in New Orleans, we might be having a different conversation, but I don't think we will. I think Green Bay is a stronger team. We got 2 more games here, don't we? No, 3 more.
Browns Chiefs, big game for this guy over here.
So I am still standing by the Browns.
The book
will
it moment.
The Chiefs.
The book it moment. That was a book it moment from an earlier episode.
Yes, it is the only book it moment that I've made so far, and I still stand by it as of right now. I think Cleveland's going to surprise a lot of people with how much better they've gotten since last year. I think Baker Mayfield's going to do way better than people are thinking he's going to, or at least what I've read. There are people that are like, guys, watch out. Baker Mayfield this year is going to have it. But I really do think they're going to upset the Chiefs week 1.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bucs showed that the Chiefs are vulnerable, and we ran a clinic on how to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And so the Browns are paying attention, and they've got talent on both sides of the ball. I mean, hell, they've been picking in the top 10 since like 1985. So I think that the Browns are really going to step up, and being week 1, I think they're gonna walk on the Chiefs.
Whoa!
What did you just say?
Whoa! I think the Browns are going to beat them by at least 14
this
points.
Guy. What?
By at least 14 points.
Okay. What?
No, I ain't going to book that.
Whoa! That's a book it.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Is that a book it?
I don't want to call it a book it because book it's are notorious for failure.
Unfortunately,
I want to say that I am saying that I think that the Browns win by 14.
So that's your lock.
My lock, yeah.
Your lock is
my
Browns win
goodness.
by how many?
14.
Okay. So what happens if they don't? Which they won't.
They
will not.
He's not putting his ass on the line like you
Why
are.
would
He's
I,
just
why
calling
would
a
I say?
game.
Why would I say they're going to win by 14 and then
Nellis-
say, well, then
No, because I
Nellis-
could see him good. I could see him good in the Eagles jersey next time he comes on.
I
That
will
could be
piss
good.
on it and burn it before I will wear it. I
Wow.
promise you that.
See, no
Nello's
sports.
thirsty for somebody else to get some punishment.
No.
Hey, hold on. Now listen, we've all picked the Browns so far, Clay, but then it's my turn here. I have to say, I'm picking the Browns to win too.
Yeah.
There it is.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think the Browns are going to roll
14
over them
points.
at all. I think it's
In
going to be
Kansas City.
Yes.
Right. That's the factor. If Nick Chubb can get himself going,
crazy.
and Baker can
Maybe.
stay on the field and not give it away or not make any poor incompletions, I think the Browns have a legitimate shot to beat them. Now, does that slow down the Chiefs to getting back to their promise? No, this is a tough team.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
a really, really tough team to go in there and play.
I listen. I am picking the Browns to upset them, but
Not by 14
But
though,
I'm
right?
still not by that much. I think it'll be somewhere around 10.
But I think we're all in agreement. It's still an upset.
But yes, I think it is an upset, and I think that so I don't even know who's filling in for Matthew for the Chiefs.
Tyron?
Yeah,
What is he? Is
he's
he
out
off the team?
He's out for the game.
He's injured.
Tyrann Mathieu is not playing this week,
Gotcha.
and like
think
I
he's
said,
on the pup, isn't he?
I think Baker Mayfield. I don't know if he's on the pup or not. I just know that he's out this week and next week. But I just see Baker Mayfield exploiting that with the deep ball. They've got the talent, and I think that's a big blow. But I was picking him long before I knew Matthew wasn't going to be playing.
This will be a big test for that revamped Chiefs offensive line, but I'm going to trust Andy Reid and his unbeaten streak in September. I'll take the Chiefs.
The only reason why
It's
I'm
not a stupid pick.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm not picking a blowout is because it's you got to score with the Chiefs and then capitalize on a mistake, and that's how it's going to be. I think it's going to be it's definitely one you take the over.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, look, they're a strong team, obviously, right? They were in the Super Bowl. But the Browns have an outstanding defense, too.
No, they took him to the
Yeah, they
wire in
do.
that
They
playoff
do.
game. No one's arguing that, but I think that the Chiefs have an offensive line now, and I think what better test than to go against Clowney and Myles Garrett.
Yeah, but listen, when you get guys to fill in from free agency, free agent offensive linemen
They
are
got
usually
some good.
no good.
They got
No good.
Brown from the Ravens, who was a top-notch offensive tackle.
Remember when we got Carl Nix, who was a top-notch guard, and
from the Saints.
He got MRSA and played preseason for us, and that was it.
And to say somebody comes back from MRSA, that's still a rough bout. But I still think the Chiefs win. Andy Reid is good in
No,
September.
but that's an excellent point because he was a world beater when he came over from the Saints, and we thought he was going to do everything. It was a different system, different thing. Sure, he got MRSA, but he just didn't click when he came here. Same thing happened with the guy from the Seahawks that came over. We thought he was going to be fantastic. I can't remember his name. He was a guard, and they were like, he's the best guard in football coming over to Tampa Bay. And I said, oh, shit. We got this guy and Carl Nix, and neither one of them panned out because it was a completely different system, completely different place to play. I'm still picking the Browns, but I think it's going to be close.
People talk about the importance of reps between a quarterback and wide receiver and timing and all that, but you got to look. These offensive linemen, they have to work together. If one of them misses a block or doesn't remember the play right and miss a block, the whole line's done for that play.
Yeah.
It only takes one guy getting back there.
Then frustration sets in. You don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 2 more here, right?
Sunday night game, Bears-Rams.
I'm excited for this one.
Boy, me too.
Oh, man. I think the 2 best defensive players in the league are featured in this one.
The 2 best defenses in the league are going to be in this.
I don't know about best defenses overall. I don't think the Bears are better than the Browns. I think they're a
Or
good
the Colts.
defense, or the Colts. But I think Mac and Aaron Donald are fun to watch, but I don't think this game will be fun to watch. You're going to see the Red Rocket come out there. You're not going to see Justin Fields. And you're going to see the Bears get run all over.
I think you're also going to finally see the real Matt Stafford.
And Sony Michel coming over from the Patriots, I think he is going to flourish from being in a new system. I think he is a underrated running back. I thought he was great in college. I was surprised to see him go to New England and stink it up, but at the same time I wasn't, because that's not the way Belichick runs his offense. But the Rams, on the other hand, are a good fit for Sony Michel, and I think he'll come in and start, and you'll see a lot of production out of him, which opens it up for Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and obviously it helps Matthew Stafford and Mr. Tyler Higbee. Yeah, absolutely. And that defense is that defense. They're the Rams. I think they're gonna rout this one.
Yeah, they're in win now mode, and obviously trading for Stafford and giving up the draft capital they did. I mean, they've got the team for it. So I think this is going to be a fun game to watch, only because I get to see Matt Stafford actually with a real team.
Yeah.
No offense to the Detroit fans out there, but let's face it, even that's true. But yeah, I absolutely think the Rams take this one.
I think this game will be closer. I think the Rams win, but I think it'll be closer than everybody thinks, because the Bears' defense is still good. The only problem is the Bears' defense isn't really built to play against the pass.
Yeah.
And they have a good pass rush, but an extra man in the box, you can buy some more time. It's the corners in the secondary.
I think Higbee and Cooper Kupp are really going to shine in this offense.
Higbee's going to blow up. Stafford loves his tight ends, and Higbee's a big boy to throw to.
And Cooper Kupp is as sure-handed as anybody in this league.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Woods is a stud. I think he's an overall better wide receiver, but for what you want out of Kupp, catching the ball, he has the ability to get open, and he doesn't drop the ball.
I agree.
Monday Night Football. It's been a marathon, guys.
Yeah. I'm apprehensive about this game.
Ravens at the Raiders.
I'm picking Raiders all day.
Oh, man. I really thought I was going to be the only one that was going to do that.
No way, dude. No way. This is going to be an exposed Ravens, I think, with no running game.
That's why I'm picking Raiders.
It is
all day.
forcing Lamar Jackson to throw the ball, and they are going to be one-dimensional, and the Raiders are good enough on offense with Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs and Henry Ruggs.
We're going to see some real Henry Ruggs, and I'm excited.
To be able to take over this game. And I think it's their first game in Las Vegas with fans.
Yeah, with fans.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
So this is a big moment for LA or Las Vegas. I don't think they're going to drop this game to the Ravens. Ravens have an elite defense. They're great, but I just think they're going to have too many struggles on offense.
Lamar Jackson's going to have to throw the ball to win.
He has to.
If it wasn't for the running back situation, I'd say it could go either way. I'd still pick the Raiders, but I don't care who they bring in. You're not learning a playbook in what's today? Wednesday, so 4 days.
Yeah.
You're not learning an NFL playbook.
Oh, they'll have a
as
running back. They'll have a running back that knows the playbook. He'll just not be any good.
Yeah, it's either that or they're bringing in whoever. I know they're trying out Freeman and Bell, but whoever they bring in that has not had eyes on the playbook until tomorrow.
Yeah,
let's call it.
They'll bring somebody in that will either be off the roster next year or somebody that will be on everybody's waiver wire Tuesday morning.
You don't think Latavius Murray's
Latavius, we were talking about it before we started recording. Latavius just got released. He knows the playbook.
He knows some of it.
He was there a couple years ago.
Hey, and if he's there
enough to play.
But you know what? Still, I don't think he's going to go right back into it and pick it up right where he left off.
You got the Raiders too, Camilo?
No, I got the Ravens.
Wow.
And dude, I loved watching Waller last year.
Yeah.
Waller's
He's 6'6", dude's a
man. He is
giant.
amazing.
I think this is a prove-it year for a lot of guys in the Las Raiders.
I just don't-
Oh, my God, I can
trust-
talk.
This is a prove-it
I think
year for Gruden.
Gruden is the one that's got to prove it.
I mean, he's there. He's got ownership in the team and all that, so he's there. But
That's crazy. I didn't know that till before today.
Yeah, they are going to very much regret that decision if they have a lackluster year this year.
Listen, Gruden is notorious for having awful personnel decisions. Remember when we flew Aaron Rodgers when he was a rookie down here and said, "Oh, well, we're going to draft you." Gruden was coach at the time. Said, "Oh, we're going to draft you." Right? Here we come up, right? And everybody thinks we're getting our franchise quarterback. We're getting the guy that we've always needed.
Aaron
Who
Rodgers.
did we pick? Who did we pick?
I think it was
You remember?
Josh Freeman?
Cadillac Williams.
Oh, Cardinal
Cadillac Williams, a notoriously
Okay.
injured running back
That's
in
not-
college. I mean,
Your
This
hindsight is terrible on that.
No. Your hindsight is 20/20 on that.
Yeah.
But when you look at the team from that year, Cadillac was the pick.
It was.
I
Okay,
disagree,
Aaron
man.
Rodgers
I'm
gets
sorry.
thrown into that Bucks team. He's not going to be the Aaron Rodgers he is today.
Absolutely right.
I don't know.
He
about
needed
that.
time.
He's still
Bucks
physically
weren't gonna give him
talented,
that
yeah.
time.
Yeah, no. Cadillac Williams was the guy for that. And hey, rookie year, he balled out. He was great. He's in the Hall of Fame for it. But
Balled out
But how many
hard.
times has Gruden drafted in the last 2 years where they take somebody in the first round and people are like, I wasn't projecting this guy to be until the second or third round.
last year with the defensive lineman from
That
Clemson.
was Mike Mayock, right? Isn't that his GM or whatever the hell his
Mayock
name?
is one of those guys.
I haven't paid attention to the Raiders' standings at the end or the finishing record since Gruden, but I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, going into that job, he was barely over 500 as a head coach.
Overall.
Right. And let's not forget, overall head coaching,
Let's
he
not
was barely
forget
over 500. And let's not forget that the whole Super Bowl with the Bucks thing, let's be honest, that was Dungy's team.
Now that's Gruden's Super Bowl. Well, I'm not taking that from
Right.
him. He
He-
coached that team
good
all year
coaching.
long. He did what he had to do, and he was very lucky to play his Raiders
with this
in
with
the
his
Super Bowl.
playbook.
That didn't change the playbook at all.
Exactly.
Not even the wordage of the playbook.
But see, now when you want to talk about personnel, yeah, Gruden is terrible with that. He's good at working with guys that are existed and making them better. But in terms of drafting or building a team like that, I don't have faith in him whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
He got rid of Khalil Mack. He had John Lynch
He
sitting on
didn't
the
get rid
podium.
of Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack wanted to leave.
No, look, and they tried to trade back. They tried to trade back with
Yeah.
Chicago for Khalil Mack. He got rid of him because he could get some draft capital, made awful decisions.
Khalil
with
wanted
those
to
picks,
leave.
And then
You
wanted him
guys
back.
aren't. Khalil wanted to leave.
Yeah, wanting to, and
Gruden didn't say you're not good enough for my team. Cut.
No, Khalil wanted to
Khalil
get
wanted
paid.
to leave.
He wanted to get paid,
yeah.
and they weren't willing to pay him what he was worth.
did that. He did that with the Buccaneers defense and offense, quite frankly. I mean, he just gutted our team after we won the Super Bowl.
I think this is a big make it or break year for Carr. This is
Oh,
the
yeah.
year.
Oh, for
this
sure.
is the
For
year.
sure.
Yes.
This is the year,
yeah.
Carr. Put up or shut up, and that's just how that's going to go.
And I think next year, depending on how that goes, we might see Devontae Adams try to hook up with Derek Carr if they win, or he'll go wherever Aaron
They got to
Rodgers
make
goes.
the playoffs at least. If Carr's going to keep his job, they have to make the playoffs.
And he's got two really, really good teams in front of him that are going to stop him from doing that.
If you really look at it, that West is really good. Denver is a good team too.
Oh, yeah. No, but I'm saying, but then you look
Chargers,
at the
too.
obvious. The Chargers and the Chiefs are standing in your way. If you're the Raiders, you're like, we're third in this division.
There's a lot of people's jobs on the line in almost said Oakland, but for the Raiders. And I mean, Gruden obviously is one of them. Carr,
I don't think
obviously
Gruden
another
goes
one.
anywhere.
I think he does. I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, I think at that point, what's his name? Al Davis's son, the one with the really awful haircut. He's going to have something to say about
The
Gruden.
only out Gruden will have at that point is he can say, "I did it with someone else's quarterback. Let me get my quarterback, and I'll show you what I can
that's
do."
a good
I
point.
think if they don't cut the mustard this year, I think Gruden's going to be on a hot seat
But
for next season. If they don't do it next season, listen, Gruden has ownership in that team. He is the kind of guy you pay a lot of money to just work with your key players, not be their coach. And I could see him doing that.
Yeah. Just another fun fact: when he left the Buccaneers and he did commentating for all those years, he was still getting paid by the Bucs every year that he was doing that. And then now that he's with the Raiders, sure, they can fire him. They're still going to be paying him.
Do you
One
guys
more
like
question.
him as a commentator?
So you think that Lamar Jackson's going to be able to throw?
No,
Because he has to throw.
to your
I think
question,
you're going to be
Camilo.
surprised. Yeah.
to your question, Camilla.
He literally just repeated Spider White Banana for like 5 seasons. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I like this kid.
Oh, God.
I like you.
Well, week 1, NFL. Week 2, college football. We are in the full swing of it, boys.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
And the weather's getting cooler. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roll Tide.
We have been the Cigar City Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are excited that the NFL is getting kicked off and we are back into the swing of things. Check out the Facebook group. Check out the Facebook page. Check us out anywhere you find your podcasts. I love it.
It hurts so good.
Oh, please don't sing again.
Just going to turn your mic down.